Hey guys, Exotic Dan here. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I am going to be doing another video in a series where I, as a Canadian, react to and learn things about Australia. So today, in this video, I am going to be reacting to and learning about why Burger King is called Hungry Jack's in Australia. Now, this is something that I've actually found out about like a couple of years ago through a BuzzFeed video where they were talking about certain brands and where they were talking about U.S. brands being called different names in certain parts of the world. And the first brand that they actually talked about in that video was Burger King being called Hungry Jack's in Australia. Now, I honestly don't know why Burger King can't call their restaurants Burger King in Australia for some odd reason, and why they have to call it Hungry Jack's. So, I don't know why they have to do that. I also don't know who this Jack person is in the Hungry Jack's name. Is Hungry Jack's named after somebody named Jack? Anyways, so in this video, I am hoping to find out why Burger King is called Hungry Jack's in Australia. I have a video here called Why Burger King Can't Use Its Own Name in Australia. So hopefully this video will give me some answers on why Burger King can't call themselves Burger King in Australia. But anyways, I spent like about almost 2 minutes talking, so without further ado, let's get into the video, shall we?
In most countries, you walk into a Burger King and order a Whopper. In Australia, you walk into Hungry Jack's and order the exact same thing, but legally distinct. It's like finding out your favorite superhero is called Captain Australia in one country and you're just expected to go along with it. But Hungry Jack's wasn't just Burger King's quirky Aussie cousin, it flourished. In a market where global giants dominate and fast food chains fall faster than New Year's resolutions, Hungry Jack's somehow made itself a permanent fixture in Aussie life.
Really?
So, how the heck did a legal technicality become a national icon? Why did Burger King fail in Australia? And how did Hungry Jack's go from 1990s afterthought to Gen Z friendly fast food brand with actual cultural relevance? This is the story of the burger brand that sued its creator, outlived its American twin, and became more Aussie than a servo meat pie at 2 a.m. Let's rewind to 1971. Burger King is expanding globally, likely high on the smell of flame-grilled beef and American exceptionalism. But when they reach Australia, surprise, someone already owns the Burger King trademark. That someone was a small Adelaide burger shop, and Burger King couldn't exactly strong-arm their way into court like they do in other markets. So what did they do? They called up Jack Cowan, a Canadian-born entrepreneur who only moved to Australia a few years.
Okay. So, Hungry Jack's was named after somebody named Jack. Okay, that is interesting. But apparently, Burger King was already used the Burger King name was already used on another burger shop, in Adelaide. That's interesting, actually. So they were basically in 1971, which was quite a long time ago, actually, now that you think about it, they started to expand into more global markets. Because I know Burger King, I believe they were founded in the U.S., so they started expanding to like many other parts of the world. And I know Canada was one of them, because we do have Burger Kings here in Canada. So they called up an entrepreneur named Jack, and I'm guessing that's how the name came up as Hungry Jack's. So that's pretty interesting, actually.
Earlier and handed him the franchise rights. Now, fun fact, Hungry Jack's wasn't even Jack's idea. Burger King handed him a pre-approved list of backup names, and Hungry Jack, a name used for pancake mix in the US, was the least bad option. Imagine the alternatives. Flamey Tim's? Anyone? So Hungry Jack's opened its first store in Perth in 1971, selling what was essentially the Burger King menu under an alias. Kind of like a witness protection program, but for fast food. And it worked. Hungry Jack's expanded, especially across Western Australia and Queensland, and slowly took root in Aussie suburbia. But corporate harmony doesn't last forever, especially when Americans want their brand back. By the 1990s, Burger King, the US parent company, wanted to exert more control over their Aussie offshoot.
Really?
Because apparently, having someone else run your franchise with local insight and a deep understanding of the market was just too easy. So in the late 90s, Burger King accused Hungry Jack's of breaching its franchise agreement.
What?
Their claim? That Jack Cowan was moving too slowly on opening new stores, which is rich, considering Burger King's own international track record is spotty at best. Then, things got spicy. Burger King decided to open its own Burger King branded stores in Australia, competing with Hungry Jack's, essentially competing with itself. It didn't take long before Jack Cowan hit back hard with a lawsuit in 2001. And in what can only be described as the reverse Uno card of the century, Cowan won. The Australian court ruled that Burger King had acted in bad faith, breached its agreement, and had to pack up and leave the country. Burger King pulled out in 2002, and all its Australian stores were rebranded as Hungry Jack's. So, yes, Jack Cowan successfully sued Burger King, using their own name to get rid of them. Legend.
Okay, my question is, if Burger King wanted to open restaurants in Australia, but they had to call it Hungry Jack's, and then Burger King wanted to have their brand in Australia and opened like restaurants under the Burger King brand in Australia to compete with Hungry Jack's, basically competing against themselves. That's like, what, like, why do you need to do that? Like, what was the purpose of like needing to like have your own brand in Australia if you already have like restaurants in Australia that are basically doing the exact same thing, but you're operating them under a different name? What was the purpose of it? Like, why did you need to do that?
After that legal victory, you'd think Hungry Jack's would be on top of the world, but by the early 2000s and 10s, things weren't looking great. Stores were outdated, service was inconsistent, McDonald's was expanding like it was playing Monopoly on steroids. KFC had discovered the irresistible power of deep-fried everything, and Subway was still convincing people it was healthy. But Hungry Jack's, it looked like it had stopped trying. But Cowan wasn't done. He launched a massive refresh. He made store revamps with slicker interiors, added self-service kiosks, introduced barista-quality coffee, incorporated mobile ordering, and added new menu items to cater to health-conscious consumers. They also brought in the Rebel Whopper, their plant-based alternative, before most major competitors in Australia even thought about going faux meat. Big move. But here's where it gets clever. They started marketing to Australians as Australians, less corporate and more cultural. Ad campaigns leaned into cheeky Aussie banter. They sponsored sports teams. And, plot twist, they got involved in something that had absolutely nothing to do with burgers. Enter Are You OK Day. Are You OK is a national campaign that encourages Australians to check in on friends and family, aiming to promote mental health and prevent crisis situations.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty
Hungry
interesting.
Jack's partnered with the Are You OK Foundation by introducing donation points in stores, running awareness campaigns, and launching support initiatives for staff. Unlike some brands, they kept the messaging straightforward without making it feel overly commercial or forced. While Hungry Jack's doesn't have the same brand power or reach as McDonald's in Australia, this move showed an understanding of younger audiences who tend to value authenticity over polished corporate messaging. It might not instantly change consumer loyalty, but it's a step toward building a more relatable brand image, one that speaks to values as well as value meals.
Yes, that it does.
Today, Hungry Jack's operates over 440 stores across Australia, making it one of the largest private fast food networks in the country.
Wow.
Jack Cowan?
That is crazy.
He's now a billionaire, still the chairman of Competitive Foods Australia, and possibly the only guy alive who beat Burger King at their own game, in court no less.
That is insane.
But what makes Hungry Jack's fascinating isn't just the burgers or the brand loyalty, it's that it stuck to its guns. It evolved without giving in to bland corporate sameness. What they did that worked significantly were embracing the digital age early, tapped into local humor and slang, targeted gamers and sports fans, and knew when to shut up and support a real cause, instead of slapping rainbows on their logo once a year and calling it progress. They've managed to keep the weird, wonderful identity of being Burger King but not, and in doing so, became uniquely Aussie. So next time you're strolling through an Aussie suburb and spot that flaming red sign that says Hungry Jack's, take a second look. It's not just a fast food joint with a quirky name, it's the product of one of the strangest brand battles in corporate history. A burger chain that didn't just survive being sued by its American parent, it won, took over, and told Burger King to take their crown and leave. It's the story of a guy named Jack, a trademark no one expected to matter.
Hold up, like... I'm sorry, but, like... Hungry Jack's told Burger King to take its own crown out of Australia. What? like, Burger King, they were the ones who wanted to, like, expand into Australia. Why did they need to, like, do all this, like, process in order to just, like, put... Like, why did they need to do this? Like, just to, like, what was the purpose, like, of all of this, like, battle, like, all this, like, legal stuff that they needed to, like, do? Like, they agreed to, like, work up with, this person named Jack Cowan, who basically helped put Burger King in Australia, even though that they had to call it Hungry Jack's. And then Burger King, they jumped in and basically opened restaurants that were exactly the same thing as Hungry Jack's, and basically just operate restaurants under the Burger King franchise name. And then, in 2002, they left the country. Jack Cowan told Burger King to take its crown and leave Australia. And now it's like, what? Like, what was the purpose of all this stuff? Like, why did they need to, like, open Burger King restaurants if they agreed to, like, open under the name Hungry Jack's? Like, what was the purpose of, like, all this? Like, why did they need to do all this in order to, like, maintain, like, some sort of presence in Australia? Like, what was the purpose of all this?
And a franchise that went rogue, dug in, and flame-grilled its way into Australian culture. Hungry Jack's isn't the knockoff. In Australia, it's the original. So
Yes.
yeah, grab your Whopper, maybe check in on your mate with an "Are you okay?" And remember, sometimes the best business stories start with a legal technicality and end with a billion-dollar empire. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much.
That was actually a pretty interesting video. I definitely learned quite a bit. The one thing that I was a little bit confused about was, what was the purpose of all this stuff? Like I understand, like, the hungry, like I understand why they had to call it Hungry Jack's, but what was the purpose of them literally opening restaurants under their own name in Australia if they already were doing that with Hungry Jack's? Like, what was the purpose of all that? But, yeah, that was definitely a very informative video. Definitely learned quite a bit there. And now I kind of have a clear understanding on why Hungry Jack's is called, or why or why Burger King is called Hungry Jack's in Australia. Yeah, I definitely learned quite a bit there on why Burger King can't use its own name in Australia. That's pretty interesting, though, actually. Like, how it all started with, like, a whole bunch of, like, stuff. I don't know why they needed to, like, open up their own restaurants in Australia if they already had restaurants in Australia that were basically doing the same thing as Burger King, but they were under the name Hungry Jack's. So now I know that Hungry Jack's was actually named after somebody named Jack Cohen. That is very interesting, actually. Yeah, I think with all that being said, I think I'm going to end off this video. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that I upload. And also, if you have any other things that you want me to react to and learn about, if you have anything that you want me to react to about or learn about in Australia, leave it down in the comments below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!